What is the most epic moment in the history of cinema? Chief breaking the window in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That or MMN. Juicy fruit. Apostrophe. The graveyard scene in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I've shown my kids a movie every Friday night since my oldest was 3, 11 now, and that's our favorite. I can pull it up at any random time and everyone will stop what they are doing and silently watch it. Eli Wallach's Tico is the greatest anti-hero and one of the greatest performances in film history. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. I remember loving it though. That music really stuck with me too. The composer Ennio Morricone just passed away last July. He was fantastic. He will be missed. 12 Angry Men. Juror #3's breakdown leading to changing his vote. That's a good choice. Also the scene where one of the jurors goes off on a racist rant and the others turn their backs on him. I love that movie. Listen to me. Apostrophe. I have. Now sit down and don't say anything else. Apostrophe. The self-destruct sequence in Alien. So many parts of Alien. Even the opening scene was compelling and told so much story just on props alone. What really got me about the first film was the atmosphere with its lonely imagery and haunting music. It was the first movie that made me feel like you were really out there, very far away from home. In the opening part one always get chills when they bring up the scanner and you hear "This isn't our system." Apostrophe. Historically speaking, I think when everything is suddenly in color in The Wizard of Oz, after the first few scenes were in sepia, that technology was revolutionary for the time. The point where you're introduced to the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park, a turning point of CGI in movies alongside the amazing score, still gives me goosebumps. Yeah, this might be the one. John Williams is a master and those dinos looked incredible. The movie came out in 1993 and still looks amazing now. The only thing that ages it is the size of the computer monitors. Exclamation mark. It looks set in the 90s rather than filmed in the 90s. The Ents Going to War, or When the Elves Arrive at Helm's Deep. That musical score, man. Howard sure killed it. Come, my friends. The Ents are going to war. It is likely that we go to Ardoon. The last march of the Ents. Apostrophe. You know it's epic when ancient creatures who otherwise want to be left alone are willing to march to death for the greater good. All because of two small hobbits. The Rohirrim arriving in Gondor carries a similar weight. Treebeard roar when he sees the forest cut down sends chills. Every single time. 12 Angry Men. Juror 8 puts Juror 3's coat on for him. It means so much in context with the rest of the movie that just this small act of kindness can have that much of an impact on someone's life. It's really beautiful. The same movie, but the scene when the rain finally starts pouring after the heat thaw. I have felt that it is actually raining IRL the first time I saw the movie. Terminator 2. The hallway scene at the mall where Arnie says "Get down." The amazing thing about Terminator 2 is that every scene turns it up a notch from the one before. Imagine watching that scene for the first time not knowing Arnie is the good guy. Those trailers spoiled what could have been one of the best reveals of all time. The flight of the Valkyr is seen from Apocalypse Now. Kilgore's cavalry taking Charlie's Point. Charlie don't surf. George punching Biff. George punching Biff. George kissing Lorraine and saving Marty from non-existence. Marty successfully returning to 1985 just as Doc hooks up the lightning cable. The Doc reveals he was wearing a bulletproof vest. Roads. Where we are going. We don't need roads. The dealer and ducking flies into the camera. The end. The whole end of the movie is one air punch moment after another. Statue of Liberty at the end of the original Planet of the Apes. Probably the oldest OHH shit movie moment I remember seeing. When the shooting stops in Children of Men. The soldier on the staircase sells that scene for me. He's first pointing his rifle at them and goes from pure aggression to stunned amazement and then desperately calling for a ceasefire. All in literally a second or two. It was the only scene in the movie that, albeit temporarily, broke down the barrier between oppressor and oppressed and highlighted that everyone was in it together. For a short time the relentless tension, anxiety and paranoia that had characterized the movie so far eased off a bit. and let shared humanity take center stage. It almost literally felt like a breath of fresh air. I love Children of Man. That whole shootout scene in that flat is my favorite scene. And when the shooting stops is my favorite part of that scene. Shawshank Redemption. Spoiler ahead. The way it is hyped that Andy might have committed suicide. It's raining. It's thunderous. He doesn't come out the next day, and then we find out that he actually escaped. If we're talking Shawshank, Brooks was here. Damn, that got me crying like a little baby. I still cried that part, especially before when Brooks is narrating his goodbye letter and hopes his pet bird is enjoying life, and that he hopes hell run into him when waking through the park. Smile, you son of a apostrophe. I like this one. Always eagerly anticipated it on subsequent viewings. It is and always will be the best shark film. Get away from her, you bitch. Apostrophe. Ellen Ripley to the Queen Alien. Smashed it. Edit. Corrected character name. Gladiator. Russell Crowe revealing himself as Maximus to Commodus in the arena was pretty legit. Phoenix did a remarkable job of looking like he just shat his soul out. Phoenix was incredible in Joker, but I loved his Gladiator performance even more. You shall not pass. Ian McKellen, in my opinion, is the reason there can't ever really be another adaptation of Lord of the Rings. Those films are full of great performances and excellent interpretations of the characters, but he is the definitive Gandalf, and Christopher as Saruman was such a perfect counterpart to him. The interplay between them was just incredible, and showed Gandalf's character development and newfound strength/confidence so well. Oscar Schindler, at the end of the film, realizing that he could have saved more Jews, and it's Hackstern and others telling him he who saves a single life saves the world entire. The whole scene of him counting how many more people he could have saved if he just sold this and that. So heartbreaking. Actually makes me tear up only remembering it. This pin. One life for this pin. God, what a scene. Barbara Billingsley speaking jive, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar arguing about how he's not Kareem, and the autopilot. Ted Stryker's drinking problem. I think you're the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense, and he says that lots of times. You don't even run down court, and that you don't really try, except during the playoffs. Apostrophe. Two moments immediately come to mind, both from Lord of the Rings. For Frodo, the charge at the Black Gate, such an awesome culmination of everything the Fellowship has been through. Seeing Merry and Pippin charge ahead of everybody else, before they're quickly overtaken by those with longer legs. Haha. The ride of the Rohirrim. Everything about that scene is incredible. The whole scene following the destruction of the ring will always be pure magic to me. Sauron's tower is crumbling. Everyone is celebrating. And then Mount Doom decides to join in the celebration by blowing up. And everyone realizes Frodo and Sam are probably still inside. My favorite shot of the whole series is the one with the fell beasts getting pummeled by meteors. Because it's a shot of bittersweet celebration. You're forced to reckon with unlikely celebration at the same time as sudden loss. Merry's face when he sees the explosion is wordless. Heart-tearing perfect acting. When Andy crawls out of the sewage pipe and stands in the rain. I prefer the moment when, and right after, the warden throws the rock at the poster. Chills. I'd like to think that the last thing that went through the warden's mind, other than that bullet, was how the hell Andy Dufresne got the better of him. What does Marcellus Wallace look like? Apostrophe. Does he look like a bitch? What? The end of Jurassic Park when the T-Rex slams the Velociraptor into the bones and then roars while the banner falls down. So epic and gives me chills every time. All-time favorite movie. The first T-Rex scene in the rain is so incredible. Looks better than most modern movies. Absolutely insane how they pulled it off. Fun fact, they blew half the movie's budget on the T-Rex animatronic. You maniacs. You blew it up. Ah. Damn you. God damn you all to hell. That bit when all of the elevators open in cabin in the woods. Swear to God. I spot something new each time. The opening of Star Wars. It's hard to impress upon anyone how amazing that Star Destroyer flying over your head for what seemed like forever felt like at the time. I was 7 when I saw it, and it blew my mind. The final trench run made me literally sit on the edge of my seat involuntarily, and I felt feelings of adrenaline I simply did not know a human could feel. After the Death Star battle, the X-Wing immediately became the standard by which all other starfighters were measured. In Planet of the Apes, when Caesar spoke for the first time. Horse's Head in GF1. Gandalf arriving at Helm's Deep and the aftermath of that moment. When Arnie said "get down" to John Connor in T2. World been better if the trailers didn't spoil it though. The entire first scene of The Dark Knight. The bank scene. No, I kill the bus driver. Bus driver? What bus driver? The moment Rohan arrives at Minas Tirith. Theoden sees the great city burning with mass dark troops surrounding it on all sides. The last bastion of humanity laid low and broken. And then the riders muster and charge the orcs in the most powerful and moving charge ever set to film. When you see the orcs panicking as the horsemen approach, their bravado reduced to terror, duck, it's amazing. My favorite soundbite from any movie is the second before your scene. Gondor is basically smoked, and then the horns of the Rohirrim sing out. That sound gives me the chills every time. As the good guys, depending on whose side you take, that sound means hope. Even a minuscule breath of relief. For the bad guys, it means shit's about go hard. I loved that scene. I honestly wish they showed a lot more of the battle on the field involving the horse charge. I wasn't huge on the elephant scenes, and the Army of the Dead scene never did it for me either. For Frodo, apostrophe, charges. Jurassic Park when they first see the dinosaurs. I love that scene. I still can't watch it without getting lost in the euphoria and believing anything is possible for a minute. Watching people getting eaten by dinosaurs is always fun, but that moment is magic. We are going to need a bigger boat. It's actually you're going to need a bigger boat, apostrophe. I'm your father, Star Wars. He told me you killed him. The first time Keanu Reeves said guns. Lots of guns, and whatever happened afterwards. If it's the Matrix, it's gotta be bullet time. That scene had jaws on the floor. The Millennium Falcon coming out of the sun to cover Luke as he destroyed the Death Star. Listen, I know Shrek is a meme and shit, but I will not let you take the entire I Need a Hero sequence from Shrek 2 away from me. That shit was fire. Be good. Memes aside, Shrek 2 was a pretty good movie with some great jokes. You could say it's a perfect sequel. This isn't the greatest moment in cinematic history, but it is the one that sticks out the most for me. Lion King, 1994, when Simba is making his way up Pride Rock after defeating Scar and the Hyenas. Incredibly powerful moment, and I still get goosebumps every time I watch that scene. On a side note, I still believe that Lion King is Hans Zimmer's best score by far, even with everything has done since the release of that movie. Yes, I've probably seen this movie 100 plus times over the past 20 years and I still get choked up when this happens. It's perfectly done and very powerful. The Prestige, when it's revealed that Ang Lee's rival has actually been twins the entire time. Exclamation mark. Edit to hide the spoiler. Even though this movie is from 2008 and no one has a good excuse for not seeing it. The concept of one man going so far as to discover and employ real magic just because he is so competitive and curious that he can't stand the thought of magic existing without his knowledge of how it works is such a tragic story. The shit that magician does and the amount of his own humanity he sacrifices in order to, because everything that a true magician is in essence is perfect. And they also somehow wove Christian Bale characters into it and tied up both of those characters' arcs beautifully. That movie is so perfect. And Bowie. The Holy Hand Grenade and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Maybe not the most epic, but that moment in Jumanji, when Alan is running around going Mom Dad, I'm home. I'm back. It's me. Alan Mom and Dad. I'm home. I'm back. Brings tears to my eyes. The car chase from the Blues Brothers. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas. Half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we are wearing sunglasses. The hotel hallway fight scene in Inception. Blew my ducking mind. Joseph Gordon-Levitation. I'm your biggest fan. Kathy Bates' delivery is awesome. I knew it was you, Fredo. Final scene of Fight Club, when Where Is My Mind starts playing. End of the 1920s when sound came. Almost overnight the silent film ceased. That, or the Hays Code coming into force in 1934 and being repealed in 1968. Those 34 years under Hays, even though it's no longer in force, still affects storylines and plots in movies, and has had an extreme effect on quality and content that cannot be measured. I had never heard of the Hays Code before, so I read a Wikipedia article. It's seriously messed up. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. The final battle in the Monterey Nebula when the Enterprise rises up behind Khan's ship. When the music comes up. Goosebumps just thinking about it. So many great scenes in that movie. But that's my favorite. Montalban is so ducking good in that movie. Especially that last scene where he's quoting Melville. That moment in the first Terminator, when the truck got blown up, and you're thinking it has to be dead now. Then you see it get up with all its skin burned away, and you get a look at the machine. You need me on that wall, A Few Good Men. Hands down the best scene. For me it's the Millennium Falcon blasting out of the fireball of the second Death Star in Return of the GD. I was 10, and I wanted to jump and run around the theater screaming in triumph right along with Lando and Nien Nunb. There are many great moments in this thread, but for me this is the one. Don't know if it's here already. For me, one of the most memorable moments was in Leon, the Professional, when Leon hands the grenade pin to Stansfield. The T-Rex breakout scene in Jurassic Park. The movie Flight with Denzel Washington. I was watching that as a 25-year-old guy drinking, and the scene where he is in court and couldn't tell a single more lie got me. The next day I realized I was an alcoholic and addict and spent the better half of 6 years trying to get sober. I'm now once again 11 months sober. That scene changed my life. Oh Captain. My Captain. I never watched it, but I'm guessing the first film with sound. That had to have been the biggest breakthrough for that industry. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched C-beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhäuser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain. Time to Die. Roy Batty from Blade Runner. Kinda hot in these rhinos. For me, seeing the T-Rex appear in Jurassic Park, I'd never seen anything so real looking. Like, maybe they actually cloned dinosaurs. And the crowd was so into it. The atmosphere was great. Good Morning Vietnam. When you see real scenes of the war and listen to What a Wonderful World. Ending of The Dark Knight. It's not about what I want. It's about what's fair. I felt for that man when he said that. He tried his best. Damn it. He was beat. He lost. The lyric "You taught me hate, I'll teach you fear" comes to mind. He wanted to bring the same choice to the people who ruined him and those who helped them. Your driver. Apostrophe. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.